Here's a structured response, assuming the role of a researcher, objectively examining historical discrepancies, focusing specifically on the hypothetical narrative around Tartarian mud flood theory, and addressing the relationship to ethnic Tartars in Russia. 1. The Tartarian mud flood theory, hypothetical origin and reasoning. The Tartarian mud flood theory is a speculative, revisionist historical theory asserting that an advanced civilization called Tartaria existed globally, particularly in Eurasia, around the 18th and 19th centuries. A cataclysmic mud flood event buried extensive regions, eradicating Tartarian civilization and subsequently allowing new nations to rewrite history. Hypothetical origins. This theory primarily emerged from alternative history communities online, driven by observations of seemingly anomalous historical architecture, particularly buildings with buried lower levels or partially submerged structures. Hypothesized reasons for the origin include architectural anomalies. Many older buildings globally have lower floors partially underground, raising suspicion that a sudden event occurred. Historical inconsistencies, missing or altered historical records, maps labeling areas as Tartaria, and abrupt architectural changes fuel speculation about historical cover-ups. Photographic evidence. Early photography from the 1800s shows cities seemingly deserted or covered with mud, interpreted by proponents as evidence of large-scale, deliberately concealed catastrophes. Theoretical motivations. Why proponents believe this was concealed. Control of historical narratives by emerging colonial and imperial powers. Suppression of technologies or societal structures that might challenge established historical or scientific paradigms. Establishment of new political and economic orders benefiting certain elite groups. 2. Hypothetical evidence claimed for the mud flood. The evidence cited by proponents typically includes buried buildings. Many old buildings globally appear to have entrances and windows below current street level. This is observable in cities like Moscow, St. Petersburg, Chicago, and Seattle. Old maps. Maps from the 17th and 18th centuries show vast regions labeled as Tartary or Tartaria, implying a large and cohesive civilization erased or fragmented by later historians. Early photographic records. Images from the 19th century showing mud-covered cities, empty streets, and anomalous structures are often cited as proof of a rapid catastrophic event. Cultural loss and reset. Rapid shifts in populations, sudden adoption of new languages, cultural resets, and historical revisions post-1800s provide circumstantial support to proponents. 3. Historical and scientific counterpoints. Mainstream historians, archaeologists, and geologists generally reject this theory, arguing architectural features like basements or lower floors often have practical engineering explanations, such as foundation settlement, urban development raising street levels over time, or practical drainage considerations. Tartary was historically a loosely defined European term for vast territories in northern and central Asia, rather than a unified empire. Early photographs showing muddy streets can be logically explained by urban construction methods, limited drainage infrastructure, and dirt road conditions prevalent before modern urban planning. 4. Tartars in Russia, clarifying historical context. The existence of ethnic Tartars, particularly in Russia, e.g. Volga Tatars, Crimean Tatars, is frequently cited by mud flood theorists as proof of ancient Tartaria. Ethnic Tartars explained. Historically, ethno-linguistic groups. Tartars are Turkic-speaking groups predominantly located in modern-day Russia and Central Asia, notably around Tatarstan and Crimea. Mongol Empire legacy. Historically, the term Tartar was broadly applied by Europeans to Mongol and Turkic peoples in Asia. Following the Mongol invasions in the 13th century, the term became loosely synonymous with Turkic-Mongol nomadic peoples. Misinterpretation. Tartar, Tatar, was a generalized label, not a specific unified empire or civilization, as the mud flood theory suggests. Rather, it represented various distinct, culturally and politically diverse groups. Misinterpretation as evidence. Proponents incorrectly conflate a generalized historical term, Tartary, with a unified lost civilization, misinterpreting ethnic diversity and European cartographic labeling as evidence of a covered-up ancient empire. 5. Conclusion. Analytical perspective. While intriguing from a speculative historical lens, the Tartarian mud flood theory remains unsupported by rigorous historical or geological evidence. Its appeal largely lies in genuine anomalies within historical records, urban architecture, and the mapping traditions of earlier European cartographers. The presence of Tartar ethnic groups in Russia is proof of Tartaria. Absolutely. Let's delve into the historical portrayal of Tartary on medieval and early modern European maps, and how it was often associated with the concept of Tartarus, the underworld from Greek mythology. Tartary on historical maps. From the 13th to the 19th centuries, European cartographers used the term Tartary or Tartaria to label vast, largely uncharted regions of Asia, encompassing areas like Siberia, Central Asia, and parts of China and Mongolia. This nomenclature was more a reflection of European ignorance than accurate ethnography. Notable examples include Catalan Atlas, 1375. One of the earliest maps to depict Tartary, illustrating the Mongol Empire's expanse. Abraham Ortelius's map, 1570s, showcased Tartaria sive magni chami regni, emphasizing the realm of the Great Khan. Gerard Mercator's map, 1630, detailed Tartaria, including regions from the Caspian Sea to the Pacific Ocean. Guillaume de Lisle's map, 1706, provided a more refined depiction based on travelers' accounts, covering much of Asia and parts of Russia. These maps often included illustrations of nomadic tribes, exotic animals, and mythical creatures, reflecting the mysterious aura surrounding these lands. Tartary and the association with Tartarus. The phonetic similarity between Tartary and Tartarus wasn't coincidental. European chroniclers and map-makers, influenced by the fear of Mongol invasions and the unknown, often drew parallels between the two. The term Tartar was used to describe the Mongol and Turkic peoples. By adding an extra it resembled Tartarus, the Greek underworld. thereby demonizing these groups. This linguistic twist served as a form of propaganda, painting the inhabitants of Tartary as barbaric or even demonic, emerging from a hellish realm. Such associations were less about accurate representation and more about projecting European fears and biases onto unfamiliar territories. The evolution into modern conspiracy theories. In recent times, the mystique surrounding Tartary has been revived through various conspiracy theories. Tartarian Empire myth. Claims suggest the existence of a highly advanced global civilization originating from Tartary, which has been deliberately erased from history. Mud flood theory proposes that a cataclysmic event buried this civilization and that modern architecture is a remnant of Tartarian structures. Architectural misattributions. Some theorists argue that iconic buildings, like the U.S. Capitol or Notre Dame Cathedral, were constructed by the Tartarians, citing their grandeur as evidence. These theories often rely on misinterpretations of historical maps and a lack of understanding of architectural history. Conclusion. The depiction of Tartary on historical maps and its association with Tartarus highlight how cartography can reflect cultural perceptions and biases. While Tartary was a real term used to describe vast regions of Asia, its linkage to the underworld was a product of European myth-making, not factual history. For a visual exploration of Tartary on old maps, you might find this video insightful. If you're interested, I can also provide a timeline showcasing the evolution of Tartary's depiction on maps, or delve deeper into the origins of the Tartarian Empire conspiracy theories. Let me know.